Hey guys, good morning to you. It's Fred coming at you live from this cold, snowy day. The video for today you may find pretty interesting, especially if you're from Kentucky. If you're from Kentucky, that gentleman right there is Philip Barnett Jr. That is your top cop. That is the commissioner of the Kentucky State Police. Now, if you'll Google Philip Barnett Jr., KSP, you'll come up with all kinds of stories. He's got a long history that goes along with him. I'm going to play a video here in a second. I want to show you what contempt of cop looks like. There's an old saying in police work, contempt of cop, and that's legally it's called disorderly conduct. But it's what a police officer, when you don't get your way or somebody questions your authority or does anything, contempt of cop, you usually charge them with disorderly or menacing, something like that. I'm going to play this video in just a second, but this headline on this newspaper here, and it says thenewspaper.com. Now, this story here was 8/26 of 2014. You can Google it, thenewspaper.com. Kentucky lawsuit restored against cop caught lying about traffic stop. Video catches Kentucky state trooper harassing motorist. U.S. Appeals Court of Appeals rules cop can be sued for false arrest. All right, I'm going to play this for you. And just a minute. Takes a minute for the volume to come up. Is the volume coming up?
What's going on?
Take a kid to town, get something to eat.
Driver's license.
Yep.
You see him?
I'm sitting here on my own property.
Well, no you're not, because that's marked right here and you don't have a seatbelt on. Let me see your driver's license.
But I'm sitting here on my property and ain't bothering nobody. I ain't got out on public.
Guys, this gentleman here, his name is Freddie Gregory. Freddie Gregory. And he says in depositions or in court papers that he's done been stopped 3 or 4 times by Trooper Barnett. Even the reason he's got a camera in his car is he put that camera in his car because he says that he was getting stopped so much and harassed by this trooper that he installed a camera in his truck. And on this very day, he was getting ready to pull out to go get something to eat. The trooper passed by and saw him pulling out, turned around, come back, turned on him and come back. And that's where we're at now. The trooper gets out of the car. It's hard to understand on this video, and I'll go over it in the transcript, but the trooper asked him for his license. He says, I'm sitting in my driveway. He said, no, you're not. Let me see your license. And you'll see what happens here, and see if you think this man should have been arrested.
Let me see your license.
I'm going to let you see my license. But I'm just about tired of being harassed by you now. I'm just telling you, well, take me to jail. That's our lock me.
There is contempt of cop. He pointed his finger at the cop, and the cop points his finger back at him, opens the door, and said, don't you point your finger at me. And you're going to see that a lot in some of these videos I've got coming up here. And that's solely egos getting in the way of doing your job. I'm not saying there's times that police officers don't have to struggle, fight, when people resist and does different things, but this is solely from right there, contempt of cop. This cop.
Go over and tell your mommy right now that get the video camera.
Look in his hip there. See that gun?
Me sitting on my own property. Let me see your driver's license. No, go do it.
He has a gun in his right side stuck down his pants, and he's got one on his left side. And the trooper sees the one on the left side, and he opens the flap to his gun, and Mr. Gregory tells him, says, I've got one over here too. He's got 2 guns on him. Now, this man was ultimately charged with disorderly and menacing. Wasn't charged with carrying a concealed weapon. Wasn't charged with carrying a firearm or in possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. So he's got one that's concealed there. So that tells me, or I think, he's probably got a permit, because this was 2014. Kentucky didn't have constitutional carry then. So he would have a permit for that one more than likely. The other ones out in the open, he don't need a permit for that because you can see it sticking out of his breeches. But it also tells you that he's not a convicted felon. He's never been charged. He was charged with menacing and disorderly. They were ultimately dismissed, but he's not charged with a gun charge. And you're going to see the guns left at the scene. So he was legal in carrying the gun. So he has no criminal record, or at least a criminal record that would add a felony charge to him for being in possession of a firearm. I'll let you continue here.
Here's the license for here.
That's his permit for his gun, I believe is what he was going to show him there. He gave him his
You're
license.
going to put this harassing. You're going to quit harassing me because I ain't done nothing illegal.
You're going to quit harassing me.
Well, let's see here. Your windows was tinted. You're getting ready to get out here and get me.
He says, you're going to quit harassing me. And the trooper Barnett says, well, let's see here. The windows are tinted. You know, it's like the Jackie Gleason show when he walks around the car, or one of them shows where they bust the tail light out. And he said, well, you got to bust the tail light. And you got this. You got that. If you have to start pulling an inspection on somebody on a traffic stop, then it's personal. When you see a police officer write somebody for not having the little license plate light above his license tag, that's pretty elementary. But even though there's a charge, that's elementary.
What do you see my window
So I
saying,
can
Dad?
stop it, okay?
What do you see my window
Look
saying?
right here. Look right here. See, you can't see through that.
I can't let it. You got them dark glasses on, I can't see now.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to take you to jail for a minute.
Well,
Put your driver's license on.
honey, get out and go over and tell your
Put
mama.
your driver's license. Put
You
your
got my driver's license. You got it.
Put your
He says, look at that window there. Can't even see. And he puts his license on the side. And Mr. Gregory says, you can't see because you got those dark sunglasses on. Trooper says, I'll tell you what. You're under arrest. I'm taking you to jail for menacing. He said, put your license in the seat. The guy says, you got my license in your hands.
wallet down. Your gun. Don't you grab that gun.
I ain't grabbing.
Don't you grab that
Well,
gun,
just
he
leave
tells
me and
me.
get another one. Wait a minute. I'm telling you I got another gun.
Better put your hand up.
Hard to understand, but there's a transcript to it. Or if you
Video, get the video camera.
go to Fred McCoy, my Facebook page, Fred McCoy, I've got the video on there and it plays a lot better. There's his guns. I'm surprised he's from Kentucky and he doesn't have but 2 guns on him. He's making us look bad. But he did have a buck knife.
Look, get the camera. He's arresting me. Video it.
He's arresting me. I would normally stop it right there, but I want to show you one other thing. It's just a couple more minutes.
Is there a reason for the arrest, officer? Yeah, I went to
Videotape proved essential for Freddie Gregory, a motorist falsely accused of traffic violations by a high-ranking Kentucky State Police trooper. That's in this newspaper article. The Court of Appeals on Friday allowed Gregory to pursue false arrest charges against Lieutenant Philip Barnett. He's looking at his guns now. Looks like he unloads that one and picks the round up off the ground. He'll come back in just a minute. What I'm waiting to show you, guys in Kentucky, and I've been retired for 6 years. Things change, laws change. I don't think our Fourth Amendment right to illegal search and seizures have changed, but I'm sure you guys, I've got used to YouTube, and I'm incorrect. Don't worry, they'll correct me in the comments, and that's fine. I like that. But you're going to see Mr. Barnett, Trooper Barnett, here in a minute. Now that gentleman's in the back seat of his car, handcuffed. You'll see in a minute, he leaves this vehicle at the scene. This vehicle's not going to be towed. Now there's if your departmental policy calls for a vehicle inventory search before you tow a vehicle, that's one thing. If you're going to tow a vehicle, you want to look through it, make sure what's in it before a tow truck tows it. And that way, if something's missing later on, you can narrow it down to where it went. This man's been arrested. His vehicle's going to be left at the scene, so that should, he's away from the vehicle. The vehicle's not a threat to him. He can't get to no weapons or do anything to hurt the trooper. But in a second here, you're going to see the trooper come back, and he's going to open that door, and he's going to commence the searching this guy's vehicle. Now, a search incidental to an arrest in the surrounding area where a person's at the time, this arrest is over. He's arrested, he's in the car. If you want to search that vehicle now, it would require, unless you're going to do an impound. If you're going to impound that car and you're going to do an impound search,
got any water right here close,
then call your wrecker and let the wrecker, while the wrecker's getting ready to load it, you'll do your search. Now, he told me to go get some water for this prisoner. He told me to go get some water, but watch here what happens after the guy goes to get water. Watch that door open. Going through the glove compartment, going through the console if it's got one. We can't see, of course, but this is an illegal search. Now watch here. He'll raise the seat up. He's looking under the seat. He looks behind the seat. That is the top cop here in Kentucky right now, 2025, and has been for the last couple of years. And we wonder why the Kentucky State Police is out of control. Why things aren't like they, well, I ain't gonna say they was ever perfect, but they've certainly got worse. See, the guy's gonna get the other fella some water. Or so the trooper said. You got any water? Can you get them some water? I'll finish that in just a second. The newspaper article says since 2009, Lieutenant Barnett had stopped Gregory on 3 occasions. So this would be the 4th occasion. 4 traffic stops. And under what the motorist considered to be bogus circumstances, the 53-year-old decided to install a video camera to document the harassment. The device was ready on April the 4th, 2009. when Gregory decided to take his granddaughter to lunch in his pickup truck. As he was leaving his driveway, Gregory spotted Lieutenant Barnett about 20 yards away. I don't know if he was parked nearby waiting for him to pull out or if he just happened to see him. Gregory stopped his car and removed his seatbelt to reach the switch for the camera. Barnett pulled alongside the pickup truck and demanded to see Gregory's license. After pointing out he was on his own property, Gregory produced his license and complained about the traffic stop. Gregory says, "I'll tell you this, you're going to quit this harassment." Barnett says, "Do what?" This is the newspaper quote. Gregory, "You're going to quit this harassing me because I ain't done nothing illegal." Barnett, "Well, let's see here. Your window is tinted and you're getting ready to get out here on the road. You didn't have your seatbelt on, so I can stop you now, okay? Where do you see my windows tinted at?" And Barnett says, "Look right here. Look right here. You can't even see through that." "Well, I can't help it if you got them dark glasses on," Gregory tells him. Gregory was searched, given a seatbelt ticket, and arrested for menacing and disorderly conduct. Contempt of Cop. Gregory spent 3 hours in jail after seeing the video of the incident. Bale County prosecutor Neil Ward dropped the charges. Although the U.S. District Court of the Eastern District of Kentucky rejected Gregory's malicious prosecution lawsuit against Lieutenant Barnett, a 3-judge appellate panel reinstated it. So it was first said that he couldn't sue Barnett for malicious prosecution, and then a 3-appellate panel reinstated it and says that he could. A review of the tape shows that Gregory did nothing that would legitimately constitute either disorderly conduct or menacing, the panel wrote in the decision, and I would agree. Gregory had a protected right to request that Barnett stop harassing him. Remember when he first come up there, he said, "Let me see your license." He said, "I'm going to show you my license, but you're going to stop this harassment." And when he pointed that finger at the trooper, Barnett opens the door and points his finger and says, "Don't you point your finger at me." The appellate court cleared the way for Gregory's claim to be resolved in a jury trial. Instead of sanctioning Lieutenant Barnett for his conduct, the Kentucky State Police promoted him to captain in 2012 and made him in command of all troops in Bale, Harlan, and Knox counties last year. That was 2012. Later on, within the last 3 or 4 years, Governor Beshear here in Kentucky didn't only promote him, he's now a lieutenant colonel or colonel. He didn't only get promoted, he got assigned as the commissioner of the Kentucky State Police. That's the head of the Kentucky State Police here in Kentucky. Guys, I'm not here to bash these cops that you're going to see coming up, these videos that I'm making now. I'm not here to bash these guys, or not here to bash the good ones. Again, there's as police officers out there, sometimes we have no choice but to take people to jail. There are people out there that commit disorderly conduct and menacing and so forth. That gentleman didn't do it. That gentleman was arrested. And again, he has no, that I could find, a criminal record as far as at least felonies, or he wouldn't have been packing 2 guns. Most of the videos that I'll be bringing you will be, I don't know, there'll be a variety. They won't only be assault and beating up on people and false arrest and all these. There'll be them, but there'll also be other videos of perjury, of assault, of abuse of children, There's all kinds of charges and videos out there, not just of Kentucky, all over the United States. Look at the one we did a while back of the New Mexico police officer shooting a little 17-year-old boy with a BB gun that had thrown the gun down. If we don't start bringing some attention out there and letting police officers be on the alert, see, cameras is where it's at. Anytime you're traffic stopped, you should turn your camera on nowadays. Turn your camera on just to be safe. Most police officers don't mind if you're taping, because that just means that two of them are. Hopefully they have theirs on. But in case they don't have one, there's nothing that beats that independent eye, that camera that's impartial to all parties. And it tells the other side of the story. I'm not going to run this video in the ground. Disappointed in that guy right there. I'm disappointed in a lot of the Kentucky State Police over the last few years. Guys, thanks for joining me. See you tomorrow. I'm learning.